Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.
All right, here we are. We're back at it. Another edition of Plex City.
Yeah.
Scotty B's right there.
What's going on?
I'm Scott Pank. This week, pretty crazy week for the WWE, but I would say it's even crazier for Paige and TNA. So which one of the Paige and TNA topics would you like to kind of start off with before we get into Raw and SmackDown this past week?
Well, the whole thing with Paige and DelRio just keeps on getting crazier and crazier. Obviously, we have the whole thing with Paige where, she got suspended again.
Right.
This time for 60 days, where they're saying, where she was like, oh, it was because of some medicine that I was prescribed, and WWE saying, no, it's something illegal. Possibly, who knows? I hope that's not the case. And now it seems that she wants to finally get married because she asked DelRio to marry her in the ring in some event in Puerto Rico not so long ago.
Really?
Problem is, he's still married.
I don't even know what to say about. I'm trying to gather what you even said the first time before you even said he's still married.
Yeah.
So number one, I didn't know he's still married.
Yeah.
So he's still married.
Technically, he's still married. Yes.
Separated, legally separated. I would
guess
hope.
so.
I hope they're legally separated. So Paige is home wrecking,
Pretty much.
and she asked DelRio to marry.
There's video out
her?
there.
In
online.
ring in Puerto
Rico?
Rico?
In the ring, in match after a match in Puerto Rico. She's down on her knees, and yeah.
Oh my God.
So he's technically still married. Her father went online to say that she doesn't approve of this at all.
I would think so.
So this is getting crazier and crazier.
Dude, there's a lot going on with Paige right now. She might need some type of rehab.
There's a good possibility because you see a video after she did what she did, popping the question and all, where whoever is taking the video is congratulating. She seems a little out there. I mean, I
seen a video they posted, and they're like in a hotel, and they're like, those bag carts that you stack your bags on, and you can push them down the hall and stuff. They're like on one of those, and they're like jumping on it and riding it down the halls and acting like they're like little kids again. Yeah. And it's like there was something I was reading that why would somebody twice the age of somebody be attracted to them and vice versa, right?
There's nothing wrong
and
with
there's
that,
there's nothing wrong with it, but when you're talking with a younger woman or male for that fact, we're not talking about somebody that's 30 and 60 or 40 and 80. That's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. 40 and 80, that's definitely sad. But you know what I mean, like twice the age or whatever. So you're talking about like a 22-year-old and like a 44-year-old in a sense. You know what I mean? That's a huge difference. What in life do they have in common? But I was reading an article when somebody's that young and like twice the age of them, it's almost like they feel like comfortable with it because it's almost like a father figure, and then that's why there's like a lot of childish things that occur in their relationships and all this type of stuff. So,
but also they both grew up in the wrestling industry, so they have that in common. So that might be like a major thing between those two. They have that bond, so that might be a lot to do with it.
See, it's just crazy to me. Like I don't see anything wrong with dating somebody that's 5, 10, 15, 20 years older than you. But I do think it has to be age appropriate. And no, what they're doing is completely legal, but is she really mentally
Who knows?
Equal to a mid 40-year-old? That's all I'm saying at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm in my young 30s, and I think of dating a 20-year-old, like, I mean, it would be...
There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah.
We get into our locker room talk. But there's nothing wrong with it, and yeah, I wouldn't mind dating a 20-year-old, and yeah, she's probably really hot and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean?
But after all that and maybe having a little fun, you know...
What do we have in common
What do you have in common after that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like if I was maybe 40 and she was 30... Then it's like, okay, you've lived
your life, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying with it? So it's just crazy that It's like going this fast, and she's willing to throw away her WWE career and all the superstardom that she could have got. And look, she had a big role on Total Divas, and the next thing was a Paige show by herself and something.
Could be. And the funny thing was that, I like all this stuff on Facebook, and I like the Total Divas page just to see what's going on. And they actually congratulated Paige for this whole engagement thing. So, I mean, obviously that's probably E! Entertainment, not WWE so much. But I'm thinking, wow, is WWE going to like the fact they congratulated her with all this? So
it's just crazy to me.
But I guess she's also going under the knife today, or maybe already happened earlier today. I saw something pop up on social media with that, where she's getting the neck surgery, the fusion surgery. So best of luck with all that.
That is supposed to happen Wednesday, the 19th, which is today. TNA. We'll get talking about Goldbergs. Shortly. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. But TNA, they're on their last legs right now. I don't understand.
Bankruptcy is definitely gonna happen.
I don't know how much longer they can last. They're gonna file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy,
probably.
And I think that's what it business is. Chapter 11. You break it down. You know more than me.
From what I'm hearing, obviously you have the whole thing with Billy Corgan. He's suing Dixie Carter.
And see, I don't even know why he's suing Dixie Carter.
I guess that he's owed a bunch of money. Obviously what he was promised in
because
a contract
he did put up, so probably the money for the pay-per-views and stuff that he's put up in the
whatever.
Okay.
Some other companies that TNA owes money to, and I guess one's American Express or something like that. So someone's using their credit cards to buy a bunch of stuff, and so a bunch of people are after them big time for cash. So.
And this is probably why WWE hasn't moved in on buying it, because they're just like, we can get it cheaper.
We can get even cheaper and cheaper.
Fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to look up Billy Corgan's Twitter right now to see if he's said anything about TNA lately, because I seen recently he posted a video and he was talking about, listen, just because I'm into wrestling doesn't mean I'm not going to focus on the Pumpkins, and just because I'm in the Pumpkins doesn't mean I'm going to not focus on TNA. I really think we got something special here to go. So something happened that we're not fully aware of behind the scenes in the past couple of weeks that really just turned everything on them. Because why would you talk so highly about it a month ago and now you're in the court? You're in front of a judge suing Dixie Carter and TNA. Something had to have happened. Something he was promised that he didn't get.
Very much so, yeah.
Oh,
he might have promised the company, and then she might have backed out. Who knows what the hell is going on with that? It's just crazy. But right now, it seems like everything's hunky-dory on TV because they taped months' worth of shows. So, I mean, everything's going to be fine up until whatever the last one they taped. Who knows what's going to happen after that? Because this happened, not last year or the year before, whatever, when they did that whole world title series or whatever. No one knew what the hell was going to happen there because they didn't know because I think they taped all that stuff for like those one night only specials or whatever, and no one knew that was going to be, and then they turned it into something for the world title. So right now they probably don't even know what's going on, so they just taped a bunch of stuff, and we'll see what happens after that.
This time next year, TNA around, or do we find it on the WWE Network?
God, I wouldn't be surprised if they stick around because every single time you think they're dead to rights, they're still breathing. Good? They're still breathing. So I wouldn't be surprised if this time around next year that they're still breathing. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Billy Corgan really gets his hands on it, that it's not TNA anymore, it's not Impact Wrestling. He changes everything around and starts fresh.
I do think they need a rebranding, personally.
Because it's basically, when you hear TNA, you just think crap now. Because when they first started, it was kind of crappy, but it was something different. It was something kind of innovative, especially when they started the whole thing with the six-sided ring, even though I think that's just dumb. They were trying different stuff, and after Hogan and Bischoff got their hands in it, as much as I love Hulk Hogan, things started to die after that, and they could never get back onto shore. They just kept on drowning and drowning, and it wasn't good after that, and it hasn't been good since.
No, it's unfortunate because they do got a lot of potential with some of the wrestlers. So
absolutely.
It's like, but yeah. So TNA, I mean, it looks like it's kind of.
But you can't. You can't
count them out because how many times has it been reported?
It's been so many times where it's like, oh, they're done, and here they are. Oh, they're done this time. Nope, they're still breathing. Oh, they're definitely done this. No, wow, look at that. So, I mean, the quality. I mean, the simple fact is that they're supposed to be like this major competitor to WWE, and every single week it's in the same place. It's just in that impact zone, or whatever the hell if they still call it that these days. It's not. They're not doing shows all over the country. This is in that one spot. Of course, that's cost effective, but still, if you want to like branch out, you really should be doing stuff in other places, especially like your major pay-per-views. Okay, maybe do the weekly show in the one place, but if you're going to do like a major pay-per-view, you try to do it someplace else.
Right. Sell some tickets and all that stuff. It's TNA. It's a struggle company, that's for sure. So WWE, they haven't really been struggling lately. They just keep acquiring.
The ratings haven't been as great as they maybe should be, but still, I think they're doing a whole lot better than TNA.
I wonder, though, at the end of the day, I don't know how you could really figure it out and how many unique people there are, but if you get, like, let's say, for example, you have 1.3 tuning in, right? 1,300,000 tuning in. And then your YouTube gets 500,000 views, the Facebook gets 1 million views, and your whatever account, say you get another couple 100,000 from them. So there you're like at like over 3 million like people in 1 week. That's not bad. No. If you account all, I mean, yeah, you could look at television ratings, but I think television ratings in general are hurting. If you look across the board, nothing is how it used to be. The sample size and everything's way different because there's so many options.
Exactly. Especially, I mean, with sporting events, it might be a lot different. Like Super Bowl, somebody's going to want to watch it that night.
That's the only platform for it. Also, too, you got to remember.
Exactly. With everything else, you can watch it the next day, maybe on Hulu or whatever, or you have your DVR and you have all this stuff you can watch it at another time. So people still might be watching, but you don't know when they're watching.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar kind of as we wrap up like the Raw. So we'll kind of jump into Raw now and we'll get into SmackDown because we are like a week and a half away from Hell in a Cell right now. There's no pay-per-view this weekend. Nope. 2 weeks off. It's because it's a 5-week month. That's why.
Ah, that makes sense now.
I was trying to figure it out.
When they said it was 2 weeks, when I was watching it on Monday, I'm like, 2 weeks? I thought it was that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5-week month. It threw it all off. That's what I'm assuming. I looked at the calendar. I dug in last night to try to figure out why it wasn't working like this. I was like, why are you doing this to me, WWE? What are you trying to do? So anyways, Raw, definitely a pretty good episode. Stephanie McMahon, I would say, is kind of doing some type of shady stuff behind the scenes. It
seems like she's being too friendly with Mick Foley now.
Yeah, and
unless they're turning Mick kind of heel, so I don't know what they're doing right there.
And the way that she's also interacting with Kevin Owens and Jericho, trying to keep them together. Basically, with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, they're out there, they're cutting their promo, and there's some... Jericho's like, listen, I don't want you out here as I take on Seth Rollins this time. Like, Rollins basically saying, oh, you need Kevin Owens to beat me, blah, 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 whatever. So Jericho's like, Kevin, go to the back. Let me be in the ring by myself. Let me beat him. Anyways, Kevin comes out. La-di-da, blah, blah, blah. Jericho ends up losing the match, right? So afterwards, there's the back stage segment, and they're arguing about it.
But Stephanie intervenes.
And she tells them that she needs them together. She needs her, like, people together because they're going to be taking on SmackDown at Survivor Series and everything. So what do you think?
So we're stirring the pot a little bit. I think this is going to lead up to Jericho and Kevin Owens in some way, shape, or form. Because next week on Raw, we have a triple threat match with Jericho, KO, and Seth. So I think it's going to just keep on stirring the pot. I don't know if it's going to implode next week. Maybe implode at Survivor Series where they're still going to be together, but one screws over the other. That's where it seems to be going, especially if there's the talk with Jericho possibly leaving soon with the band. So,
to me, it sounds like he's going to be around a little bit, though. If he's going to be through Survivor Series,
I would hope so. Maybe after Survivor Series he leaves.
He could take a little bit off then. Yeah. He could come back, maybe surprise
Royal Rumble entrant. Maybe.
Exactly. So that'd be huge.
I'm fascinated to see how this is going to go because they just keep on they're teasing it and then it's like, okay, they're still together, and then they're teasing it again. So when do they finally implode is the question. So
when are they going to take the belt off of Kevin, because he's definitely being outshined by Jericho?
I would say they keep it on until WrestleMania.
Really, that long?
I would say so. Maybe that's the point where
he's doing good, but he's really being outshined right now by Jericho.
Yeah, that's true, but maybe he takes Jericho out. That's the whole thing. Maybe that's the reason why Jericho leaves for a while. That it's an injury angle that he gets taken out. I would say possibly that he sticks around as champion until WrestleMania, because we're forgetting about Finn Balor. Finn Balor is supposed to be the Universal Champion. The whole injury is what took him out, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm hearing things where his recovery is a lot faster than expected, so could he be a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble? He wins that. He takes on Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
Seth Rollins, what's going on with him right now? He's face, that's for sure. But is he connecting with the crowd like he used to?
I think so. Though, was it glitter crotch?
Yeah, glitter
crotch and glitter ass. Is that?
Yeah.
They were into it. They liked that.
But that crowd was a really good crowd, though. All in all, they were energetic.
Denver crowd is a good crowd. Well, they're having a good time up there in Denver.
Yeah, it's definitely the Mile High city, that's for sure. But I just really hope that Kevin Owens steps up, or they let him get some segments away from Jericho, because whenever he's with Jericho right now, he's just Jericho's outshining him.
But I always think,
from the list to the.
But if he takes him out and that makes him much more of a heel, he'll shine even more.
I just hope there's a really good payoff for it.
I think there will be,
because it deserves a really good payoff. If not,
Kevin
really
Owens is a great
sense.
heel. He can do it on his own. He doesn't need Jericho.
The United States champion Roman Reigns confronted Rusev and Lana. Come out to the ring as they're talking their talk, and Lana slapped the hell out of
You saw it coming too,
Reigns.
because she walked right to do it, slap him. You know what's going to happen. Yeah. And sure enough, a brawl breaks out.
She hit him hard. I was like, God dang. I felt that one through the screen.
That was like a Stephanie slap,
Right. She's top three slaps of all time.
Exactly.
But I gotta say, this Rusev Roman Reigns feud, it's definitely kind of picking up, and
I'm digging it.
It's found its lane.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, it's definitely a mid-card event, but I'm truly digging it, and I enjoy it a lot.
I'm waiting to see what happens in Hell in the Cell, because those guys have been beating the hell out of each other the last few weeks. What are they going to do in the Cell? I want to see it.
What do you think we're going to get from Sasha and Charlotte from the Cell?
First of all, supposedly Mick Foley said something on social media that was going to be the main event of Hell in the Cell.
Oh.
Then he kind of retracted it, so maybe he...
Co-main event.
Maybe he kind of,
Whoops.
said something that he shouldn't have said, and it's going to happen. I want to see something happen, because right now my only thought is it's just going to be a regular match inside the Cell. I want to see some high spots here. I want to see something happen here. If you're going to put the women in a Hell in a Cell match, make it worth it. I mean, I'm not saying jump off the damn cell,
right?
Because that's ridiculous. Even though I think Charlotte wanted to do something like that, and Vince was like, "No." So I want to see something big happen here, and we're just going to have to wait and see what they do.
Between these two, I really do. But also, they kind of scare me, because sometimes I feel when these two get together, they try to...
I mean, even when they're in a regular match, I mean, Charlotte doing that one, the backflip off the top rope onto the floor, that scared me.
Yeah, I think there's going to be something that happens, but I hope they don't force nothing.
No.
Just let it naturally happen, because when you force stuff, bad things happen.
Yes.
I do think this is eventually building up for us to see Sasha versus Bayley at WrestleMania, just because of how huge their match was at the NXT Brooklyn a couple years ago.
And then the rematch after that.
You know what I mean? So I think we're setting up to get that in the long run. I think Bayley's gonna, she's just gonna beat up on everybody that's not Sasha and Charlotte right now.
And right now we gotta hope that Bayley isn't hurt.
No, what happened here?
Because the match with Dana Brooke, I mean, she might have just been selling the heck out of it, but after the match she's kind of holding her neck and stuff like that. And I think they said something on WWE.com where she's just being looked after. I haven't heard anything since that, so it very well just could be injury angle and stuff like that. But it was kind of a botched finish to begin with.
Yeah, well, it was Dana Brooke. What do you expect?
Exactly. Dana was looking for the leverage with the ropes, and she totally missed it, and still got the pin anyway. So
I don't know why they keep giving her so many chances. Not to take away her job or see her being unemployed.
I mean, she's getting better, but I mean, that was a bad botch at the end there.
Sometimes I don't understand with the WWE tag team division, what they're really doing with it, because some nights it's like they have everybody team together and they have 4 tag team matches, and then they actually have tag teams, and they don't even have the actual tag team matches. That actually occurred last night. Tag team champion Big E took on Sheamus. Sheamus is partnered with Cesaro. Great match. Big E beat Sheamus, which is exactly what should happen. If it was Cesaro should have went over. Then also on the show, Big Cass and Enzo. Well, Cass takes on Carl Anderson from the club. So it's like, why not just have the actual tag teams?
Probably because they're just leading up to the tag team matches themselves. You can't do it right then and there. Let's build it up a little bit more, and we'll actually put the tag team match itself on the paper.
So next week we're gonna get an 8-way tag team match here.
We very well could see that. Yeah, probably the New Day and Enzo and Cass versus the Club and Sheamus and...
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's happening next Monday?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. No, I think they actually said that there was going to be... it was going to be not the Big Show. What am I saying? It was supposed to be... the New Day and Sheamus and Cesaro were going against each other. I think they said that was coming up next week. So... even though I think they have a match at the pay-per-view, I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm totally...
There's so much.
There's just so much. It's tough to keep it all together.
It really is at the end of the day. You put all the brands together, and it's just a lot.
It's like you actually do all the kind of the research and like, okay, what's going on here? And then you kind of like, okay, did that? Oh, dang it, I totally forgot about that. And it just totally starts screwing.
And not to, jump over the cruiserweight division all quick and all that, but... Not really so much of a progression from last week. They're really just kind of giving the people in the division more of a chance to wrestle. So it's getting there. They can't just... It's like how they did with the women's division when they started the Revolution. Yep. Slowly but surely, we'll start to see really good stuff coming from the cruiserweight division. And honestly, Brian Kendrick taking on T.J. Perkins, who is the champion. That's a great...
That's gonna be a great
That's a great
match.
That's a great way to get the cruiserweight division going. Now, the big news of the night for Raw. Goldberg. I gotta say, I loved how when he came out, they actually had him walking through the back, so that was really cool.
With all the WWE wrestlers, especially did you see Big E's face?
Yeah.
He's like, oh my god, look at that! Like he's like a freaking 10-year-old kid. It was pretty cool. I like that.
So that was really cool. He came down. I gotta say, he cut a way better promo than I thought he was going to.
I was impressed. I mean, I liked the way the whole crowd, even before he said anything, this is awesome, the holy S chants and everything like that. And you could tell that Goldberg was actually kind of stirred by all that, because it looked like he was crying a little bit. He was showing a lot of emotion. And it was like, oh, you haven't forgotten about me, have you? So it's pretty cool. I mean, I was never the biggest Goldberg fan, basically because I was...
Still not.
But basically because, I was a Stone Cold fan. And he comes in and, I always remembered Stone Cold every single time he told the story that he was like, oh, a guy in black trunks and black boots isn't marketable. He becomes the big thing in WWE. All of a sudden, Goldberg, a guy in black boots and black trunks, they start marketing him. And that always kind of ticked me off. It's like, you couldn't do it with Stone Cold, but you can do it with this guy, huh? So I was always on that side of the WWE, so...
I'm with you on that. Not that deep. I just never thought Goldberg was the greatest wrestler. And I don't know. There's just always something I just didn't like about him. I don't know what it was. I don't know. But anyways, now that this is actually in motion, I am excited for this fight. I can't lie and say that I'm not. But one, I really hope that Goldberg is putting in the train. First of all, we're skipping over some stuff. He said, yes, he's going to take you on, Brock Lesnar. He's going to come at you. We don't know when it's going to happen yet. We don't know any of the details yet. We just know that Goldberg accepted the challenge. But, Goldberg, you need to work on some wrestling stuff and make sure your endurance is there. I feel that this time around, Brock and Goldberg want this fight more than 100% more than what they wanted it the last time before they left.
Because they both were leaving and they didn't care at that point.
No, not at all. It was just like, let's get this match done with and just get the hell out of here.
Yep.
This time, I think they truly both care. They both want the fight, and I think that they both want to put on a good show and give fans something more than what they got last time.
Absolutely.
So I do think this time around, it's going to be way better, and I think we're going to get some really good promos from Paul. I think Goldbergs
especially since Paul's involved in this now, because the last time he wasn't. This time around, Lesnar doesn't have to say a thing. All the talk, Paul Heyman, because every single feud that basically Lesnar has had, it's all Paul doing the talking, and he makes you so interested in it. Just starts talking. As soon as he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman,"
you're ready.
Okay. What are you going to say, Paul?
Yep.
I'm ready. I'm going to love this. And there you go.
So as long as Goldberg is truly prepared for it, and he really, respects wrestling and what wrestling is now, and respects the fans and everything, I think this could be a decent match at the end of the day.
I'm 100% with you there.
Like, you could. It's okay if you're doing it for the money grab. Just really be passionate about this match, and I think he's going to be, especially the way the crowd treated him. If the crowd wasn't like that, I don't know what we would have got from Goldberg. But since the crowd was like that, and if the crowd stay hot for him, hopefully it's going to be something special.
Because I started seeing a lot of stuff on social media. People were like, "Oh, you should start chanting Ryback at him." Kind of like, obviously, when Ryback started, everyone started chanting Goldberg, so I just do the opposite. I went, come on.
Yep, and then he's not going to be back, and so just ruin it, you little idiot. You stupid idiot. So moving on to SmackDown, they start off with Ellsworth. This Ellsworth thing is definitely becoming a thing.
The fact that he's so much more over with the crowd than Roman Reigns is just too funny.
It's insane.
I mean, I don't get it.
No.
I think it's funny what they're doing with him, a little comedy thing going on right now. A great way to get this whole AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose feud, give it more steam, but it's just the fact that this guy, he doesn't have a look. He obviously is going to be a jobber for life, and everyone's cheering him on. When the guy who's actually putting in work, I mean, maybe not the greatest promo guy, but still, it's like, why are you booing Roman Reigns like mad? And then you're putting this guy out here who's this, he's going to get his ass kicked, and let's give him all the praise. I find that strange.
So Ellsworth defeated AJ Styles.
By disqualification.
So he did not get the belt, but he's got 2 victories over AJ Styles. So
more than John Cena has.
So that's true. You did say that. So who knows where this is going to go? I mean, I wouldn't doubt seeing a triple threat match with Ellsworth and Ambrose and Styles. I wouldn't doubt that. I do think this is good. This has helped out Ambrose's character a lot, adding Ellsworth into it, because it allows Dean to kind of show the intensity, but also show the comedy, the I don't care side. So I think that's really good, and it shows how violent AJ Styles can actually be. So all in all, I think Ellsworth has been a good ad. It's weird.
Like I said, it's helped with this whole feud, adding fuel to the fire. I think it's pretty funny. Because at one point, either next week or a little down the line, Ellsworth's going to get, just pulverized by AJ Styles. It's like, it's not even going to be funny. They're probably going to end it that way, I would think. But right now, what they're doing, and like you said, Dean Ambrose getting in there, being the ring announcer, then the timekeeper, and then starts shilling the Ellsworth T-shirt, which is now on WWEshop.com. He's got his own T-shirt, for God's sake, and everything else like that. It's funny stuff, and just to get under AJ's, get under his craw like that, it's funny. I like it, and it makes SmackDown very interesting. I was actually wanting to watch that match. Is where are they going to go with this?
I know, it is really, they can do anything they want with it, and that's the greatness of the freedom of having a character like Ellsworth involved in the mix between these two. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much you can really do between Ambrose and AJ Styles, especially when they've been having it go on since the split.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? So this it freshens it up. It's a nice little thing right there. I'm intrigued at this Ellsworth thing, though. I really am. But also, I do like how AJ Styles mentioned David Arquette. We definitely talked about that last week. WWE, you listening?
Could be.
And so you should be expecting a check in the mail anytime soon now. But other than that, that's a great event. And speaking of having somebody like that and allowing the freedom you to do more things and everything is really cool. And I like how they're doing that also with Bray Wyatt. And they're really letting the whole magical and mystic and
kind of like what they always do with the Undertaker and stuff like that. They're doing it with him now.
Yeah, all the
it's always been kind of hokey, but it's still, he's supposed to be, the Eater of Worlds. He's supposed to be the next thing, kind of like the Undertaker. To have him start doing that, I like it.
As a wrestling fan, I don't mind suspending my belief.
Yeah.
Only every now and then. I don't want you to insult me and have me do it every match. Yeah. But if I'm doing it for one character, like a Bray, I'm cool with that.
Absolutely.
I like that. And I like the fact that a casket was rolled out and everything, even though Kane was in the casket when he opened and they're trying to throw...
Now we know where he went after last week, so,
Yeah, he was in the casket. He's catching a nap, catching some C's. So... Randy Orton's taking on Bray Wyatt. This feud is continuing on, but now we got Luke Harper joining back up with Bray, and Kane and Orton, I guess, are a thing now. So this is going to go somewhere, and I do want to see a casket match again.
I'm thinking that's probably where they're going. If they're going to bring that out, they're going to have something like that.
Casket match would be perfect.
I would think that's where they're going to go, definitely. They wouldn't put that into the fold like that if they're not going to have a match, something to do with the casket.
And I'd also think Bray should start to go on some streak himself.
Oh, he should.
He needs a streak himself. Taker had the WrestleMania streak. Maybe it's a SummerSlam or Survivor Series or whatever. Bray needs to start going on a streak himself and start building this dominance. We're here. We're at the right time to do it. Let's do this, WWE. Let's get the ball rolling with Bray. And another thing I would love to see is Bo standing next to Bray.
That would be great, because you're almost seeing it, because Bo is just this... He's turned into this badass character. And he can still do
the Bo Leave thing, too, you know what I mean? It's just a darker side to it. Yeah. Like you said,
he believes in Bray.
Yeah.
Something's happening there.
You don't lose all the marketing money that you spent on it and all that stuff. I think that's a smart decision. Somehow you got to get Bo over to SmackDown, get him teamed up with Bray. You have Bray, Bo, and Luke. Woo! That's the best Wyatt family ever.
That'd be awesome.
Kurt Hawkins, he almost debuted against Apollo Crews, but basically they're doing what they did for Eva Marie for, God, I can't think of his name, Hawkins right now.
Yep.
I don't know how much I dig that. I like his little smarky attitude and that he's better than everybody.
Well, this is almost kind of like Fandango, too, because, like, first when he started, they kept on saying his name wrong. He's like, I'm not going to debut tonight till you say my name right.
I forgot about that.
His debut halted for the longest time, so they're going to keep
talking through his intro like Eva Marie, too.
True, that's true. That is true. So they're kind of doing it like a combination of the two. They're just, let's delaying it, and see, when is this guy going to finally debut? So... we'll see where that goes.
Is Hawkins kind of corny, though? Does this whole thing feel kind of corny and lame
to you? This is on top of something else where it's kind of like something else. It's almost like the Matt Hardy version 1, when he had the whole Matt facts and stuff like that, and now they're doing the same thing with Kurt Hawkins, doing the same sort of thing with him. So it's kind of a combination of the Matt Hardy thing, the Fandango, and the Eva Marie all in one character now.
Yeah. It's like...
it's a little strange.
I don't know. I do think there could be something special with Hawkins, though. But right now, just...
I don't know where they're going right now.
Before we get into Miz and Dolph stuff a little bit more, to wrap up the show, Carmella came down. She cut a hell of a promo against Nikki Bella. And I got to say, Nikki, she held her own in that promo, too. This is going to be a really great feud, a lot better than what I even thought it could have been. It's doing better than Naomi and Alexa Bliss is doing right now.
I like the fact they're getting real with the whole, Nikki and John Cena. It's like, you're basically a gold digger, and the only reason why you are who you are is because you're with John Cena. And like, how many people online say that stuff online?
Right.
Oh yeah, she ain't nothing. The only reason why she has a job is because she's John Cena's woman. So the fact that she's calling her out for that kind of thing, making it real, I like that. The more real you can make it without stepping way over the line, is really good. That's my type of storytelling.
Something I want to start doing, I just came up with, thought of it, is we're going to do an MVP of the week. So think about it, but I'm throwing mine out there right now, and it's Becky Lynch. Because Becky not being here the past couple weeks makes you realize how important she is to that women's division. Because the women's division is doing really good right now. Don't get me wrong.
True.
It's doing good. But not having Becky there, it's not at the level of where it could be.
Very true. Very true.
She is so good, and she does not get the praise that she deserves. I don't think, personally.
I'll agree with that.
So,
I mean, they all stepped up this week. I mean, Alexa Bliss and Naomi had a heck of a match. I love the outfit that Alexa Bliss had. She's worn it before, but the Freddy Krueger looking thing going, I love that. She had a heck of a match, and then the whole back and forth between Carmella and Nikki stepping up their game too. I mean, once Becky's back in there, it's going to be even higher level. So,
love Becky. She's doing a hell of a job right now. And Miz and Dolph Ziggler, this thing just continues on, and it's super good. I mean, the Miz is teaming up with the freaking Spirit Squad here. It's crazy.
They're still there.
Dolph and Heath and Rhino are together, and it's just like this feud. They're just finding more and more ways to extend it and just make it feel fresh, and the intensity between Miz and Dolph is just so real. And I honestly don't think they're the closest of people behind scenes, behind the doors at all, and they're just, I mean, I think it's some of the greatest wrestling and some of the greatest promos that we've seen in years in the WWE coming from these two.
I love it. They keep on going with it. If it lasts a few more months, I'm not.
Are they going to have the belt flip back and forth?
What's that?
You think we're going to have some flip-flopping of the belt during the next couple pay-per-views?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, to keep it that important and both of them wanting that belt so badly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that a few times. If not like a few times, I'd like give it back to the Miz and then back to Ziggler, and then somebody else can take it after that. But, I mean, the fact that they're keeping this belt so important, like as it should be, is a true test of them.
Does it feel like the most important belt to you in the company? In the industry?
Maybe not the most important one, but the fact that they're making a title belt important and not just kind of using it as just for show.
Yeah,
that's what all the belts should be. They should be very important, and the fact that they're using the storyline like they are is making it really look important.
3 years ago, would you have said The Miz was going to bring relevance back to the IC belt?
No, I didn't. I thought maybe 3 years ago that the Miz might have been kind of
out the door.
As much as I like him, but I've always liked him. Always thought he was a great heel because he helped put guys over like mad, and his promo skills have gotten so much better. I mean, when he was with Damien Sandow there, that was great. And they just kept on building and building. I'm like, okay, they're going to finally start doing something with him again. And obviously they are. The brand split was one of the best things to happen to him.
Is Miz going to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done?
Absolutely. He's been there for, 10 plus years?
Yeah.
All sorts of IC belts. He's been the WWE champion.
Tag
team champion. He's been in their movies and stuff like that, too. Sure. Of course he is. Coco Beware is in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, what does that tell you? Nothing against Coco Beware. I mean, we all love the Birdman, but what does that tell you?
You're right.
He didn't win any titles in WWE.
But that does make people sick here that Miz is going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. For some reason, I don't know why people.
He's got to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of my. I'm probably one of the biggest Miz fans around, so he's got to be.
So the Miz, Dolph Ziggler, still the best thing.
Still the best feud going.
Exactly. All right. So who is your MVP of the week?
I might either go with Dean Ambrose because he just made that match between Ellsworth and AJ just that much better, his little comedy shtick that he was doing, or maybe even Goldberg, because it was just a promo you didn't really expect, and just the fire and the rage that was there, the not only are you next, you're last, and you just, every video that I saw, people posting online, it's just like, I had to keep on watching this. It's like, this is cool, this is awesome. He made people...
Sounds like Goldberg might be more of your MVP.
I'd probably go Goldberg then, yeah.
It sounds like he's got the edge, the passion.
You
can hear it. He definitely did add to Raw.
Yeah, for sure. They put him on last, so I had to actually watch it the next day because, I had to get up so dang early. So that's the first thing I really wanted to watch when I got home to watch the rest of Raw was the Goldberg thing. I mean, I didn't really care about anything else. Like, what are they going to do with this?
It was so good.
And I loved the promo. It was
really
great.
Was. So that's that for this week's edition of Plex City. Is there anything that we didn't mention? I think
there's probably everything. Something, but you know,
we got all the main.
We got all the main stuff covered.
Paige proposed to DelRio. Let that sink in. All right, so Scotty B, how they get at you?
You can find me on Twitter at ScottyB1976. You can find me on the Instagram, ScottyBizzle76, and I'm on Facebook at Scotty Blaine. That is Scotty with an I-E, not a Y.
Scott Radio is how you get at me across all the social medias. Plex City is the show. Subscribe in iTunes. You can look up Plex City or Paiges Podcast. Either one, you'll find Plex City. The most important thing is to subscribe. Also, tell your friends about the show. We appreciate it. Yeah, spread the word along. You know, it's a nice little gem. Yeah. Pass it along to the friends. All right, so that's it for this week's edition of Plex City. Peace out. Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.
Plex City.
Marks.